We all have tough times in life, times when things don't go right, or we might need to get help from others. I can appreciate that. But do you guys remember the time when Michael Myers was a panhandler? Well, we're going to get ready to discuss it. Let's go. Let's get down to brass tacks. Through the course of the Halloween franchise, we've seen Michael Myers depicted in so many different ways, and it's been a roller coaster to see those played out in the stories that have been chosen by the various filmmakers of the Halloween franchise. When you're talking about anyone from John Carpenter down to Rob Zombie down to David Gordon Green. But what I want to talk about is a time when Michael Myers was brought down to the basest of levels, the most human of levels, living off the streets.
Filthy, dirty hippie.
And yeah, I'm referencing Rob Zombie's Halloween 2. Now, this was a movie that is very divisive in the Halloween fandom, and for myself, I have an interesting connection to it. I have some parts of the film that speak really, really well to me, and then some parts of the film that I'm just not the biggest fan of. For you guys, let me know, what are your thoughts on Rob Zombie's Halloween 2? What do you like about it? What don't you like about it? I'm going to get into one of the things that is very divisive that I've been very vocal about on this channel, and that's Hobo Myers. Michael was depicted as a hobo. He dressed like a hobo. The mask made him look like a hobo, and he was a hobo. In the movie, it's continuing off of the events of Halloween from 2007, and at the end of that film, he's shot by Laurie Strode. Scout Taylor Compton was right there, boom, shoots, and then it cuts to black. We pick up in Halloween 2 where she's taken off to a hospital, which was a good scene, by the way. I don't think it gets the credit it deserves. That scene showing her it's almost like being put back together again with all the cuts and the scrapes and the bruises and the blood. It was a really good scene, very realistic in its depiction. Now, on the other side of the coin, you have Michael that's being transported, and as usual, you got people that are transporting, that are EMTs, that are just horrendous people. I mean, in these Rob Zombie movies, there is not a lot of light in these characters, and that's just the way it is. That's his style.
Man, she was F-I-N-E fine.
And for a lot of films, I can enjoy that. In Halloween, I go up and down on that. And if you haven't checked out my videos on Rob Zombie's Halloween or Halloween 2, check those out in my Halloween playlist. But they run into a cow, and Michael gets out. He is back, baby. And man, does he take revenge on these EMTs. And then he just strolls off into the wild. And it's one of those things. When I first saw this movie, I'm wondering, what is he going to do? Is he going to go back after Laurie? Is he just going to go back to his house? What are we going to do? And, in the beginning of the film, that hospital sequence with Laurie after she goes through her surgery and so forth, that was so good. And obviously an homage to Halloween 2 from 1981. I loved that scene so much. But of course, it was a dream, and Michael obviously wasn't at the hospital chasing Laurie, which is too bad. I really, really enjoyed that. I would have loved to have had that be real, but they decided to go in a different direction with Michael. He's scavenging, he's eating animals and dogs and all this type of stuff, and you have that scene where those guys in the truck, they basically whoop his ass. I mean, they are hitting Michael, they are whooping him, and it looks like they're gonna kill him. But Michael, being Michael, overpowers them and kills them with total disrespect, including the young lady in the truck who had nothing to do with it whatsoever. You have that scene where you have the dogs in the back of the truck, and man, come on. I mean, we know Michael eats whatever. We saw that even in Halloween 78. But in Rob Zombie's Halloween 2, man, they really hit it home for you. But here's the thing, to get more into why I'm not a big fan of Hobo Myers, and I know a lot of people are. And one of the things that people will say is it was realistic. Michael's gonna be dirty. He doesn't, shower, he doesn't shave, and the mask might start to peel off and all those different types of things. So they liked that realistic imagery of Michael. Here's what I have a problem with is that in both of these two movies from Rob Zombie, they humanized Michael way too much. They made him a little bit less of a mystery, actually a lot less of a mystery. And I didn't think, and I don't think that it's a better version of him when you compare it to Halloween 78. I can appreciate it for what it is, and that's fine. But the fact that you see him angry and he's grunting, and he's on this vengeance tour, and he's seeing the visions of his mom in his head and all that. I think that they just went way too far in that direction for me as a Halloween fan. I can appreciate it, and if you look at Halloween and Halloween 2, both films by Rob Zombie, you can say, hey, they're really good horror films. There's a lot of great kills, there's some decent characters and some great set pieces. The music is, kind of up and down. I don't think that he leaned into the music aspect of the movies as much as he should have, at the same type of intensity that you saw like in Halloween 78, or even if you've seen in like Halloween 4 or Halloween 2018 and so forth. But that's neither here nor there. There were great kills, and having Scout Taylor Compton as Laurie Strode, I think she was a great choice for Laurie. She played Laurie in a different way, and it was fun. You have Danielle Harris, who's playing Annie. I thought she was really good in both films. But again, Michael is so humanized. He's walking the land, he's eating, he's hanging out in a shack. I mean, next thing you know, they're going to show him taking a dump. I mean,
Oh, freaking A! What's that? What smells?
it's like, I don't need to see all of that. We know that Michael does these things. In the other movies, we know that he's driving a car. We know that he traveled from Illinois to California to chase Laurie Strode. We know that he does those things, but we don't need to see all of those things. We don't see those things with other horror villains, other icons, or the antagonists of film. And that's because in a movie, you have to have a story that flows. You can't show every single thing that they do for every second. And with this idea of having Michael as a hobo, he's got his big, coat on, and the mask is ripped. He's got 10% of his mask. It's like, why don't you just take the mask off? Don't even have the mask on. It's grungy and dirty, but it's, as far as in a movie, it doesn't look good to me. It is what it is. It's not the worst mask for sure. That's a whole nother story. But it doesn't really look good to me either. When you look at something like Halloween Kills or even Halloween Ends, the mask, it gets burnt, it gets battle worn, and it ends, it gets moldy and cruddy. But the mask still looks good, when you see it in the light, the way it's shown, the cinematography, the mask still looks amazing. The mask for Rob Zombie's Halloween 2, the little bit of it that's there, it's just like, okay, whatever. There's nothing to it whatsoever. The mask in his first film in 2007, I thought that mask was pretty good. It still was worn and gross and stuff, but it looked good. It looked like a Michael Myers mask. Now, for those who are fans of the take that he had in Halloween 2, that think, okay, well, it's a fresh take, it's something that we never saw before, and they enjoyed it. I get it. There is that aspect to it, but when I look back and I take inventory of the whole franchise, it's definitely not my favorite. And I like to joke around about it, calling him Hobo Myers.
Filthy, dirty hippie.
But seriously, he didn't do anything for me really in that movie. He had some good kills and obviously was very intense, but again, showing the anger and the grunting, and at the end of the film, he speaks!
Michael, for God in heaven, die!
Hobo Myers speaks when he says die. and he's pissed off at Loomis, which that was an interesting thing to do as well. I mean, Loomis was one of the only people in these two films that showed Michael Myers any type of compassion and humanity and caring other than his mother. Michael didn't have people that he connected to. Okay, when you saw that first film, you know, his mother, played by Sherry Moon Zombie, was great and cared for him and loved him, but everyone else was an asshole to him. The kids at the school, the principal, the teachers, all of them, the bullies, his stepfather, even his sister, Judith, was acting like a jerk towards him.
Answer me. Michael? Michael! Answer me! What the fuck? Michael! Answer me!
When Loomis was taken off of the case for Michael, you have that scene where he said, Michael, I'm sorry to tell you this. You know, he really did feel for this person, even though he was a monster. So when you have Michael Myers say die at the end of Halloween 2, and he's angry and pissed off, it's just kind of an interesting choice. Number one, that he's showing that he's pissed off to Loomis. It just doesn't make sense. And of course, he's talking. Why is he talking? He shouldn't talk. I think if they had shown Michael, once he escaped from Smith's Grove, if they just showed Michael as just a walking embodiment of evil, he's just killing, it just is what he does. There's no rhyme or reason or anger to it. I think that at the end of Halloween 2, if he killed Loomis, then fine. He did it because Loomis is right in front of him. That's just how it is. And that would have worked out better for me. But the fact that it was almost like he had this anger, it's just some crazy ass choices that they made in Halloween 2. And I know Rob Zombie wanted to do that because he was given the freedom to do the movie he wanted, the sequel that he wanted. And hey, kudos to him. I think he's a very talented director, but I still have a lot of issues with Halloween 2. I'm still having a roller coaster of emotion with it. And that's not a bad thing. But Hobo Myers, no.
Filthy, dirty hippie. You don't want me doing that.
I don't want to see Michael panhandling on the street, you know, eating scraps out of the trash cans and eating dogs and stuff like that. You guys, let me know what you think in the comment section down below. I know a lot of you guys are fans of Hobo Myers, and I know some of you are not like me. So let's talk about it in the comment section down below. Don't forget to like button. It helps to support the channel, and I appreciate it. If you're not subscribed to the Night Watch Zone, this is the time to do it. Do it and become part of this fantastic movie community where you'll never love and talk about movies the same. And if you like this video, check out my Halloween playlist where I've talked about all the movies, all of the news about the new trilogy, and so many other things, including rankings. And I'm sure you're going to enjoy it. I'll catch you guys later. If you're watching this, if you're listening to this, you are the Night Watch. Peace.